I'm gonna share. I had like three talks with three different people after doing some contemplations, and I guess I'll just share. So I'll share the contemplations. I have a right to be here, and I'm inherently useful, a force of love and sharing. I don't need to express my goodness. I want to. I can trust my Father is protecting me to the best of his ability, even from his own self. I am nothing and no one. I'm everything and everyone, and I was treated like actual trash sometimes. So, I reflected on a certain person. His name was Sim. He really hurt me, gave me a hard time, and judged me. I've been too quick to also judge others as inferior. It's like a toxic perception, maybe making value judgments. And then I had a few talks. So first of all, I'll talk with Suratha. When we're grasping, we can move into surfing and recognize that what we do is what we get. And we can love, he called it Kali, but we can love the black hole in terms of unmet expectations versus a gratitude dialogue. We can be with, we don't have to have. Horrible is a gift too, and satisfaction versus suffering. We can be in touch with who we are. Mistakes bring us to our creativity. We can come up with new ways and even resourceful about excuses. And he used the word lila, but it's about community, family, playfulness, and everything. A practice that includes flubbing, which means making mistakes. And the power of the world and the power of the word is inherently useful, chemist, potency, co-creative distillation, fragments, impeccable with words, and words create reality. There's culture buzzwords, and there's something called massive attentive, which is like this massive attentive. It's like an experience of presence. When we're fully embodied, we have a dimensional being, we have shadow, and we can celebrate instead of churning. And then I had a talk with Rachelle, who was a mentor of mine at the time. This is also, I always say, this is going back like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know exactly, maybe more, maybe a little less. She was saying that there's a charge sometimes that it can flow into natural. When things line up, we want to share, and we can regularly replenish the whole. And like, for example, you always need to eat more every day. In this lifetime, for me, and we've experienced in the past, you don't, like, in order to do everything we have to do, we have to eat and sleep. So sometimes a duck is just a duck, and we have to like feel into what we need. But remember, our vitality, we check in with ourselves versus like stuffing it. And we know that being glamorous is always an available choice. And then I had a talk with Sprouti. Fears are born out of loneliness and fatigue, where we can't fix the past and there's no one to compete with. We can start being gentle with ourselves when we realize we're born to die, and we fill the time with coming and going. And if we weren't miserable when we're young, if one is old and miserable, like, then they're controlling, then controlling, right? So we can learn as we go, people's positions, and stepping into the light, stopping at the light, like stepping into the light to stop to see, right? So we stop at the light, and we can begin to work things out of our control. Sometimes it's a red light, we can't go. Sometimes it's a yellow light, and we could speed up, or we could like pause. And when it's a green light, we can fully go. But we also could recognize it's not stupid or weak to care. The body carries out the brain's willpower, and we have to recall the good or bad and learn from it. And a futuristic feeling of not existing, we can, we were given all the wisdom and strength we need. For example, I sell myself to, this is what I wrote at the time, to avoid going back to where I was. I can handle what comes for me, though. Fear to fight or flight, a loss or a fear of being hurt or used and tricked, betrayed, abandoned. If I'm not accepting, I don't get to expect to be accepted. So we can use it or be broken. Like, this is the good or the bad. And we can apply it, when I mentioned, like, there's a futuristic feeling of not existing. So, okay, the good won't exist either, but so won't the bad. And when we're too uncompromising, we get into that fear state. So and I asked the person I was talking to, his name was Sprouti, like, what are some of your fears? And it resonated with me, a few of them. I wrote them down: feeling like a waste, nothing to offer, losing independence, feeling invaded or like we can't protect ourselves, feeling helpless, trapped, cornered into tight space. And then I remember I became attached to someone. So at the time, so I wrote a little more. This was like an inner conversation, kind of like being afraid of the person that I love leaving, disappearing, moving, until I remember I can meet someone new tomorrow, a new person. It's not in my control, and I can wait till it happens to mourn, because for now, either I can appreciate how the dynamic is with dignity and respect and how he is, and balancing the energy with open-mindedness, fluidity, sensuality, kindness, sensitivity, and thoughtfulness. Because the truth is, I don't need him. I just appreciate him. If he's fun and he's growing me and helping me to laugh and smile and move, however, I don't need him to survive, right? Because we meet people on the way. We were born without them. And even people without parents survive. Even people who lose their partner survive. So it's not like there's any specific person. It's no one's the source of our happiness. And also others are lucky to know us too. We can enjoy it for as long as it goes on for us. And as long as it's aligned and meant to be. And there's no guarantee though. He's sent by Hashem, by God, and sustained by God. So any enjoyment or love or pleasure or entertainment that we get from another person is from Hashem, from God, simply as a channel. God is the ultimate provider, choosing this one, or this one's choosing to be, and he provides for this man that I was attached to through me too. So coming through me, what this man needs, and recognizing I'm complete on my own and there's nothing wrong with me or lacking where I'm disabled, and God arranged it so I can have free choice and independence. And talking to someone doesn't mean I have to keep my guard up. Like I could act, which is, in other words, like this person I was attached to doesn't mean I have to keep my guard up where I act unaffected or like I don't care or try to make him feel dependent on me. I could face that things can end without these tactics. Like I used to be so desperate for something, I'd avoid my instincts in order to get in. To get in, that's no longer the case. So I can feel beautiful, attractive, and desirable. I can feel lovable, useful, worthy, and precious. I can feel trustworthy and reliable. I can own it when I make mistakes. It is scary to get used or to get used and to like it or to feel like I'm used to someone, and it was only, for example, it could have only been like a few weeks of knowing someone, but not wanting them to disappear. We can take our time and be with the process and program. If we didn't meet the person, that we would be okay too. And everyone has fears. It's not like they're higher because we're afraid. They also have fears. Nothing is for sure. And like I actually spoke to the person about it, and he said, take chances, wait for it to happen. What ifs don't matter. In other words, what if you do this? That's not real. And he said, you have to take a chance. In other words, he was also sharing me, he was also taking a chance and waiting, like, okay, when there's a bridge that comes, I'll cross the bridge when I get there. So I'll stop here, and I wish you a great day. Bye.